Hola todos. I'm sorry that you're stuck with a screencastify for today. I'm not feeling very well, so I'm going to go ahead and just give this to the presentation, and hopefully I'll be back with you next week. But just kind of working independently. It's an easy lesson, so I'm not feeling too bad about giving you this one because it's just kind of an easy, fun one, working with the total vocab right now. The title of this one is ¿Qué haces para prepararte? And if you look at the pictures, what do you do in order to get yourselves ready? We're talking about daily routines and the vocab that you would need to talk about those. You have a list of some verbs here. The verbs look a little bit different than what you're used to, and we'll talk about the why later and how to use those. But right now, this week, we're just kind of focusing on what are the meanings of the verbs. We have to have these memorized before we can try conjugating those. So what I want you to do is you decide, do you want to write the meanings here on your copied slide, or do you want to write these in the notebook? The notebook might be easier for you to refer back to when you need them. But I want you to go through and find the English equivalent of each of these verbs and write them down. We have acostarse, cepillarse los dientes, and then cepillarse el pelo. They are two different words or two different meanings there. Despertarse, ducharse, lavarse la cara, lavarse las manos, or lavarse el pelo. Again, three different things there. Maquillarse, ponerse, secarse, and vestirse. Right now, pause your video and write down the meanings in English. Now you have some more words that we're going to need when we talk about our daily routine. For this one, I want you to do the exact same thing. Either write the meanings here on the slide or preferably in your notebook. We have arreglarse el pelo or arreglarse las uñas, el cepillo or el cepillo de dientes, el champú, el desodorante, el jabón, el maquillaje, mirarse en el espejo, pintarse las uñas o pintarse los labios, el secador de cabello, la toalla, el perfume, and peinarse. Right now, please pause the video and write down the English equivalents. Now we're going to do an activity. I'm going to say one of the activities, and you're going to write the number that corresponds with the activity, and then we'll check it in a little bit. The first one is mirarse en el espejo. Mirarse en el espejo. Write down the number of the verb that I've just given you. Mirarse en el espejo. The second one is ducharse. Ducharse. The third one, vestirse. Vestirse. And the next one is bañarse. Bañarse. Number 5 is peinarse or cepillarse. Let's go with cepillarse. Número 6 is lavarse las manos. Lavarse las manos. And the next one is maquillarse. Maquillarse. After that, we have acostarse. Acostarse. And then we have secarse. Secarse. Number 10 is despertarse. Despertarse. Number 11 is pintarse las uñas. Pintarse las uñas. And number 12 is cepillarse los dientes. Cepillarse los dientes. Let's go through and double check your answers to see how you did with that listening activity. The first one was number 8, then 4, 12, 1, 9, 5, 7, 6, 11, 3, 10, and the last one that you can't see is número 2. All right, so now we're ready to move on to the next one. For the next activity, you are given 3 different words that are all associated with each other. Lee las siguientes palabras y elige el verbo que asocias. So if I look at toalla, baño, and ducha, what verb is being represented? Write each of the verbs on the blank. Pause the video now. When you're finished, you may go ahead. Now that you're done filling in the verbs, I want you to take a look at the answers that we have here. For the first one, we have a towel, bathroom, and shower. So the verb is ducharse, to shower oneself. We have hot water, soap, and shampoo. So the verb will be lavarse el pelo, to wash your hair. We have bed, morning, and alarm clock. Despertador is your alarm clock. So the verb is to wake oneself up, despertarse. We have pantalones, zapatos, chaqueta, pants, shoes, and a jacket. So we will either say vestirse or ponerse la ropa, to get dressed or to put on your clothes. We have a mirror, face, and to see. So we're looking at mirarse en el espejo, to look at yourself in the mirror. We have a bathtub, water, and bubbles. So the verb is bañarse, which is to bathe yourself. Número 7, we have hair, a brush, and a mirror. So we will go with cepillarse el pelo, to brush one's hair. And number 8, we have a brush, we have teeth, and we have a smile. So we'll go with cepillarse los dientes, to brush one's teeth. Now we're going to go through and just look at the 3 verbs that you had at the beginning. I asked you to identify why they were underlined. And if you notice, they were underlined because they are all stem changing verbs. Okay. For the O to UE verb, it was the verb acostarse. Sorry about that. Acostarse. And so acostarse means to go to bed. In order to conjugate acostarse, we're going to have to take the verb. We're going to take the infinitive. And when I get ready to use this, I'm only going to give you the yo form right now because I don't want to get into the whys of the tú, ustedes, and nosotros yet. But when I take acostarse into the yo form, this say that I have here, that's going to be written as the yo form, may. Acostarse means to put oneself to bed. So if I put myself to bed, the may is showing me myself. Acostarse then is conjugated just like normal, except when I get to that O, I'm going to change it to, like we said in here, a UE. Then I'll go back to the regular form, and I put myself to bed will be me acuesto. That's the only form that I want you to worry about right now. Don't worry about the two. Don't worry about ustedes, ellos, ellas. All you need to know is I'm going to take the say, put it in front of the verb, and change it to me. And then all I have left is acostar, changing the O to UE, and it becomes me acuesto. Another verb that also changes from the first page is the verb despertarse. The verb despertarse means that you wake yourself up, not that mom comes in and wakes you up, not that your little brother comes in and wakes you up, but you wake yourself up. For this one, again, there's that say that means I'm doing it to oneself. So in order to conjugate that in the yo form only, don't worry about the others, I'm going to change the say to may and put it in the front of the verb. Now I'm going to take the rest of the verb and conjugate it just like normal. But this is now going to be an E to IE stem changing verb. So this IE is going to be changing to an IE. And then I can finish out the rest of the verb. Me despierto. Okay. The third verb that we have was vestirse. Vestirse is an E to I stem changing verb. So for vestirse, the exact same thing. Vestirse means that someone dresses themselves. So since they're doing it to themselves, and I want to put it in the yo form, I'm going to take that se and change it to me and put it in front of the verb. Now I'm going to take the rest of the conjugation, but since it's an E to I stem changer this time, change the E to I, and then continue with the rest of the verb. And to say that I dress myself is me visto. Me visto. Okay. This is all you need to know about those three types of stem changing verbs in the reflexive form. And again, don't worry about anything else. The other verb that I put on there was ponerse. I did not put ponerse on there because it's a stem changer. But if you remember, or if you know, ponerse is actually a little bit odd in the yo form only. It will be yo, and instead of just dropping all of that off, I'm going to put a G in there, and it will be yo me pongo. Since the se is here, I'm still going to have to deal with that and put it at the beginning of the verb as the me for the yo form. And to say that I put clothes on myself would be me pongo. Those three verbs right there, four verbs right here, are ones that you probably want to write down in your notes. Let's see, does that work out okay? So that you make sure that you have all of those written down correctly, because you're going to be using the yo forms here in a little bit. Okay. If you have any questions, make sure that you are asking me, email me, or whatever you need to do. Okay. Now, having given you those four forms, let's look at this activity together. Seleccione la respuesta más lógica para completar cada oración. Número uno, antes de secarme, which is the correct word that would best complete the sentence? Me peino o me ducho? For this one, if you remember, antes de means before. So before drying myself, me ducho. I take a shower, or I shower myself. Número dos, antes de peinarme. Number one, me lavo el pelo o me acuesto. So before combing my hair, me lavo el pelo. I wash my hair. Tres, antes de vestirme, A, me levanto, o B, me acuesto. So before dressing myself, I get myself up out of bed. Cuatro, antes de comer, A, me cepillo los dientes, o B, me lavo las manos. Before eating, I brush my teeth or I wash my hands. The answer would be B, I wash my hands. Cinco, antes de acostarme, A, me pongo la pijama, o B, me pongo la chaqueta. Before going to bed, A, I put my pajamas on. Hopefully you did quite well with this, going through and reviewing. Again, think about, identify how you did with identifying vocab of your daily routines. And from here on out, you're going to return back to your module for the rest of your directions. Adios.